most respected in Jerusalem.
Messiah, you'll always be my brother. I'm an orphan your father took in.
Until the Romans came.
Subversion will be met with crucifixion!
And then we were betrayed. By my own brother.
You know we've done nothing wrong. Rome's calling for blood. I have to give them some.
The world you live in is Rome's. Their laws.
First for Levi!
Their power. You cannot defeat them in the streets.
My family, they deserve justice for what's happened.
Teach us how to live humbly.
Ben-Hur. We've got another sword and sandal movie. This is a remake of a remake, apparently. I've never seen any of the old Ben-Hurs, so I was just going into it hoping we would get another Gladiator, but I knew we weren't going to get that. Maybe some Gladiator Light, but there's something going on here. The last several years of sword and sandal movies, as I like to call them, have not been that great. I mean, the last good one I can think, I really liked the second 300, but a lot of people didn't like that. Kingdom of Heaven I liked. I love Gladiator. I love Braveheart. These movies are just not doing much here anymore. And this is another example of a below average sword and sandal movie. The basic story is we have Judah Ben-Hur. He is a Jew in Jerusalem. He takes in a young orphan. They kind of are brothers, and they have a good rivalry going. Well, then the brother decides he needs to leave, make a name for himself. He joins the Roman army, and then he comes back several years later, and some conflict arises, and he ends up having to betray Judah, and Judah ends up being enslaved for 5 years on in a boat. And then it's basically a revenge tale. These are decent performances, and what I will give this movie, it does feel more realistic than some of the more recent sword and sandal movies, like Hercules or Clash of the Titans. Those like feel too CG and too fantasy almost, whereas this one felt realistic. It had the look and the feel of a Gladiator, but unfortunately the story wasn't as good. It had some serious pacing issues, and the movie as a whole just was very long. It's 2 hours and 5 minutes, and somehow it feels longer than its runtime. The ending too, a lot of critics had a gripe with the ending. It did feel a little tacked on and kind of silly. I never saw the original one, so I don't know if that's what they went with the original one, but it did have kind of an extra 10 minutes of movie that I don't know why it was there, except for I think they were trying to go after a certain demographic, but it was just not great. It was okay. Like I was fine watching it one time, but I don't think I'll ever want to watch it again. Whereas the great ones, you want to go back and watch again. This just wasn't that. The performances were okay, like I said, but overall, I'm going to say this is worth a rent. I'm going to give Ben-Hur a 2.5 out of 5. If you like this video, click that like button. If you want to keep up to date on all my videos, click this glorious subscribe belly button. If you want to see my last few videos, click over here. This has been a Rainy Cage production. Peace out.